Namaste. I am Professor G. Kumar Manikwel. I am an ocular geneticist. I have worked in 5 different countries in the world, including the United States of America, New Zealand, and of course, India. I'm going to discuss about the current problem that our Gen Z is facing in our country. Let us look at what the problem is. The younger generation is facing two particular problems in NEET and other examinations. Let us see what are the challenges and what are the solutions. I've already introduced the problem, and the problem is that there is an examination problem, and there are two aspects of that. One is that there is a question paper leak, and second is that there is a mix-up of scanned answer sheets of students. These problems are not only limited to the NEET exam, but also for various common exams of students, as well as those who are job applicants. Now, how can we solve this problem? Is there a universal solution? Is there a solution that is already existing somewhere else? Or should we actually find a new one for our country? So therefore, I've taken the American examinations, which the United States of America as a country conducts across the world. And this examination pattern actually gives you one solution for two problems. And let us see how that is possible. Now, first of all, the American exams are all online, and there is a major question bank that is deposited in the iCloud. Let us take, for example, there are two students who are taking one type of the examination, student A and student B. Now, student A has prepared very well for the examination, whereas student B has not prepared very well. Now, the student A is given very tough questions, and this is a method called as adaptive examination, where the algorithm in the computer understands that this is a student who's prepared very well, and therefore starts to give that person and guides that person towards a very tough questions examination. Let us take, for example, the A student gets 60 questions right out of 100, but gets 75 marks. Now, student B, who's not prepared well, is given tough questions by the algorithm, and the student doesn't answer the tough questions well, and therefore the algorithm starts to give the B student easy questions. So the B student starts to answer 75 easy questions, but gets only 60 marks. So the advantage of the system is that student A doesn't know what is the question paper of student B, and vice versa, student B doesn't know what is the question paper of student A. So if there are 50 students in that examination hall taking their exams in the computer, not one person has the same question paper. So therefore, 50 of them have 50 different question papers. Some of the questions may be common for them, but not all of them. So the tough person answering less questions gets more marks, whereas the person who's not prepared well gets easy questions, does more questions better than student A, but gets less marks. Now, in this examination pattern, if you see, there are many types of examinations, as some of you must be knowing, like GRE, GMAT, USMLE is a medical exam, a qualification exam for medically qualified people from other countries to enter the US and get into the medical system. And then for law students, you have LSAT, and for school students, you have SAT, and where you have different number of students taking these examinations over a year. And the recent data suggests that for GRE, there are about 260,000 students, or 2.6 lakh students have taken. For GMAT, it's about 1 lakh, and for USMLE 1.5, and LSAT 1.2 lakhs. SAT takes quite a lot of students, and therefore that's about 2 million. Now, therefore, if you put all that together, it's all crossing and coming close to about 2.5 million people who take various types of examinations, and there are a few more also. And there is absolutely no question paper leak. So let us see what are the advantages of this kind of a system. As I mentioned earlier, there is no question paper leak at all. Of course, you need to have a very vigilant system in the hall, and you can monitor the students, and they cannot actually change the computer page, and therefore they have to sit on the examination page, and their eye movements will also be tracked. Now, second advantage is that there is no problem in evaluation. So the moment you finish your exam, or sometimes halfway through, you know that what is your score. Another advantage is that you can take this exam multiple times. Okay, so a student who is doing 10th standard in India can take this exam for the for the graduate studies. So the person can take it during their 10th or 11th or 12th, after 12th, and they can do it multiple times. So what is the advantage of this multiple times is that the student is not so anxious, as you can see that in point 5, which happens in India. A student who's studying for about 12 years is judged by 3-hour examination. And you can therefore see the anxiety, which of course leads to some of these students attempting suicide. So this kind of computer-based iCloud algorithm, a student will not be tremendously anxious as it is happening now. And they know that if they don't do this exam well, they can take the same exam in a week, or whenever the slot is available in a couple of weeks or months. So I strongly suggest, with all my research that I did, that this kind of examination pattern is what India needs now. Let me admit that I don't know what will be the infrastructure that you need for this, and what kind of money that we need to create such a system. But whatever it is, we are in a state, in a country, that this kind of system, it doesn't matter how much it costs, our country has to establish it. So therefore, that is my conclusion, that we have to move forwards, and we cannot sit on question papers that is sent across our country, where people do find that out, and then there is a paper leak. And secondly, the evaluation system also has to be incorporated in the examination system itself, so that the student knows that how well they are doing it, At the end of the exam, they get their answer sheet. So I wish this is heard well, and I want those who are listening to this to pass it on to others so that we know that we have wonderful system already existing, experimented, and is one of the most robust system in the world. So thank you and namaste.